A beginner's guide to shooting glasses. If you're new to the sport, it could be a little bit daunting for you, wondering which ones are best. So I'll be going into some detail. Now, even if you're just a fun or recreational shooter, or if you intend on perhaps shooting competitions in the future, then hopefully this guide will give you some idea on what you might choose to go for. So I'll be going through 3 different price points. That is the low or budget end. In there I will be discussing the Top Gun Elite and some of the Evolution brand of glasses. Then I will go into the mid-range and I'm looking at the XSight. Now, I haven't personally had any experience with these, but I do hear good things online and the comments are generally favourable, so I think they're worth a mention. And then I will be going into the top end Pilla range of glasses. Now, one thing I must stress is please, at a minimum, wear some proper safety glasses. Now, I'm not just saying this because I want to sound like some TV salesman that says, oh yes, I've got one of these myself. I am being genuine here, and I have honestly been hit in the face with some stray pellets that came towards me from another stand. So I'm well aware that it does create a possible danger, and wearing glasses is a must on CPSA registered competitions, and also most grounds insist on you wearing them, and I think that is a good thing. So please at least wear some safety glasses of some sort. I will also be going into some of the prescription glasses options. One of that is a prescription insert, and the other are official prescription glasses ready-made with the lenses already fitted. So hopefully at the end of this video you'll have some better idea of what you're actually looking for and what you might decide to go for. Right, so starting at the lower price bracket. Firstly, we have these from Top Gun. They're called Elite, and this is actually what I started with. Now, from memory, I'm sure the colours have changed slightly, but they do give you from this clear, then it looks like a brown, an orange, a yellow, and then like a sunglasses grey. So at least there are different options for depending on the brightness or the background. And if you are just a fun shooter, these are a great starting point and will serve you well. Now, you can buy them direct from the manufacturer by the look of it, but I know that certain shooting grounds and shops also stock them as well. So if you just want to shop around, you might get a slightly better price online elsewhere. But for just the fun or recreational shooter, if you just want a variety and to shoot safely, then these are an ideal way to get into it. Moving up slightly, we come on to the Evolution range, which personally I think if you are looking at these as a stepping stone to see which would suit you best, and then to find out which colours suit you best for future, if you want to invest in some slightly better ones, such as the XSight or even onto the Pilla, then this will probably give you a better experience and more knowledge on which colours suit you, because the colours that Evolution have generally are more akin to the Pilla or XSight ranges. So if you try these at first, find out which colours suit you, then you'll have a rough idea of which ones to go for if you do decide to pay out more for the better quality glasses. So another little word of warning is looking at these first 5, they all have a frame over the top. Now, as long as the lenses are plenty big enough, they should be okay. But if they've only got relatively small lenses, then the top of the frame can slightly obscure your view and put you off, because when you are mounted with the gun, quite often you can see the top of the frame and it will get in the way of you seeing the clay. So just something to be wary of. Personally, I would go for something like these Chameleon as a bare minimum. And then as you can see, there's plenty of different colours, so they will give you a good idea of what suits you under which conditions, which I will get onto shortly regarding testing different colours. Again, these ones look a little bit small, and as I will touch on elsewhere as well, these ones are useful because they do have the prescription insert availability. A couple of things to warn you about here, which I will reiterate as well, is be very mindful of the size of the insert. Some of them are a little bit small, and this is exactly what happened to mine. I did order some just to see what they were like, and the top of the insert did cause a bit of an obstruction, and like the smaller frames, it did get in the way of when you go to mount the gun. So I would be looking at some slightly larger inserts, which I will show you in a different photo shortly. So what would I suggest? That would be something like these 4-colour bundles. Got some slightly better ones there. Obviously they're a bit more expensive, but they've got the most popular colours in. These are similar to the ones that I've got, I believe. I'm pretty sure mine were Edge. And again, you've got 3 of the popular colours. That's yellow, purple and rose or orange, not entirely sure. And then a dark one. So they will give you a good idea and a base for which to start from if you want to spend some more. If you don't want to spend that much, obviously we've got these Connect X4 colour bundle, or Connect 4 colour bundle, and that may give you a good idea again. And then if you want to try some others, you can obviously buy them individually, as you can see here. And there are plenty to choose from. There's the optical insert. Another thing to mention with the inserts, you will probably get what you pay for. I know that some of these are only about £50, but bear in mind the quality of the insert. It's no good going for a good quality set of lenses and then put a poor quality insert in them. So just another thing to be wary of and to bear in mind when you do actually purchase. As you can see, I have 4 different coloured lenses. We've got the yellow, orange, rose and the purple. Now these are how I bought them. Basically I bought 2 with the arms and then just bought another 2 sets of lenses. So I've got the 4 to choose from. And these are what I will be testing. Now we move on to the XSight, which I class as a mid-priced range of glasses. As you can see, these come in different kits as well, varying from a 2 lens up to a 5 lens kit. And you've got a good choice of colours there, and again here. Another thing to mention is that these do prescription inserts as well. And then another good feature on this website itself, if I can find it, here we go, is the shooting lens simulator. So this will give you a rough idea of the different colours and how they change your view of the clay and the background. So if I just move that across, that would be as if you're wearing a clear lens or no lenses. And then let's choose the purple, as it's one of the most popular. Sorry, if you go down the left hand side, you can see the different colours. So you just pick one and then it will give you the simulator as if you were wearing those colours. So let's go for deep purple and then slide the simulator across. So that is how it looks with a clear or no lenses. But then if we imagine we've just put the purple lens on, the idea is that it dulls the background and makes the clay pop. So a different background here, probably a more common sight, is with shooting into the green of the grass and the trees. So no lens, and then with the lens, and then as you can see, the clays definitely do stand out far better, or hopefully you can, depending on how your vision is. Then let's just try that with, say, a light orange. So no lens, and then with a lens. And as you can see, the clays do stand out more. So hopefully that will help you if you want to come onto this website. It's XSightsport.com, and that's a pretty useful site. Even if you don't want to buy their glasses, at least it gives you a rough idea of which colour lenses might suit you. And finally, moving on to the Pilla. As you can see, there are various different series. The most popular is probably still the Panther, I would think. They are what I have. So there's one with the prescription insert. And then we can modify the search. So we'll look at the X6. And then narrow it down by colour. So I'll just go for the purple, as it's probably the most popular. Excuse me. And here you can see all the various shades and strengths. So we've got an 84, a 68, a 40, a 47. So if you do decide that purple is your colour of choice, maybe if you just wanted the one, then you'd want something around about halfway, so around about the 50. But then you've got a 15 for the brightest of days, so that's really sunny. And then moving down to the 84 for either dark, almost shooting at night, or very dull days. So let's say you wanted to go for a 3 lens set, similar to what I have. You could go for something like a 15 for the bright days, then a 47 for most, and then perhaps either the 68 or the 84, depending on the kind of weather and where you live and the type of backgrounds that you generally shoot against. Or if you wanted to go the whole hog and have 4 sets, maybe you'd go for, say, a 15 or a 19, then something around about a 30 or a 40. So you've got that 40 there. Then perhaps a high 50 or 60, so maybe that's 65, and then the 84. So that would cover most bases for you if you wanted them all in a similar colour. Or obviously, if you do some experimenting, you can find out which colours suit you and maybe have a blue and an orange in a low light situation, and a blue and an orange or blue and yellow in a bright light situation. What I would recommend is discussing it with your local dealer. I bought mine from Starkey Outdoors and they were very helpful. You've got Ed Lyons as well, obviously well known in the industry. He's another dealer, so would obviously offer you good advice as well. And finally onto the Pilla that I have. So I've gone for 3 different lenses at the moment: a 9.5, a 36 and a 64. Now that gives me a pretty good choice depending on the light conditions and the backgrounds. So a 9.5 I wear in the brightest of conditions because it lets the only 9.5% of light in. The 36 I wear most of the time. That's sort of a mid-range depending on how you look at it. And then the 64 I wear on dull days where it's a bit overcast and not much light. I don't know about you, but it sort of works a little bit opposite to my logic, but I understand where they're coming from. So the 9.5 is 9.5% of light is let in the lens. Then this one is 36% of light let in, and this one is 64% of light let in. So obviously the higher number, the more light is let in. So on bright sunny days you want the lowest number possible, and in low light you want the highest number possible. Now these do go up to, I think it's about 90, and obviously that would be for something like shooting in the dark or in very low light conditions. But these are the 3 that I went with, and they give me a good selection and cover most days' light conditions. Then I've just got 2 sets of arms, so I've always got a spare pair. Just before I go out and demonstrate how I would test different coloured lenses, let's just briefly touch on prescription inserts and prescription glasses. So hopefully you've seen a brief idea of the prescription inserts, but here are another couple for you just to see with the bigger insert fitted. So it gives you a better field of view, and hopefully you will be more successful using larger inserts like these. If you want to shell out a little bit more money, then we have something like these from JHS. Now the ones that I was going to show you have actually been discontinued, and these new ones have gone up slightly in price, but hopefully you would probably only need 1 pair. So all in all, it may work out a little bit cheaper than having various different strengths of lenses, because these are the photochromic option. So let's go with the purple to brown. And as you can see, the lens automatically alters with the light conditions, so you don't need to swap glasses as the weather changes. So these go from purple to brown, or you do have these other 2 options. This one is orange to brown, and then yellow to brown. And obviously you have the complete lens giving you a complete field of view. So these may be a better option. I do have some friends with the prescription inserts, and they have told me that they do take some getting used to, and there are a few issues with them, such as fogging up and also what is often described as a goldfish bowl effect, because it is as if you were in a fishbowl looking out, and there's a slight curvature which does take some getting used to. So personally, if I was going to look at prescription glasses, I would probably steer towards these proper glasses rather than inserts. However, there are many successful shooters that do use the inserts well, so they may be right for you. It is just a case of trial and error. So let's move on to testing the glasses now. Time for some real testing now then. So I've come to Garland's for a couple of reasons. One, there's a big variety of targets. Two, there's a good variety of colour of targets to test how the different coloured lenses appear against the different clay colours. And then finally, there are also some different backgrounds to shoot against. So I'll be shooting against a sky background. As you can see behind me, there's some fields, a bit of woodland, so trees, and also some water. So will give me a good test. Also, the weather's not the best. It's quite a dull day in December, as you can see, a little bit misty. So it's one of the extremes where any deficiencies will show up. So I'll be testing 3 different colours. The Pilla that I've got on is an orange-ish, then a rose in these evolutions, and the ones that are on my cap are a purple. So they're 2 different colours that are quite popular, and I'll just be comparing those against my colour of choice for this type of weather. So that was using the purple. The first thing I noticed was that the background was a little bit dimmer, and the orange clays did show up that little bit more in this light. And now we'll go on to the rose. So after that first pair of shots, I've noticed that the clays are not as bright as with the purple, but they do still stick out quite a bit. So in that instance, the purple would be my choice in this weather against this background and this colour clay. And Again, Steve's put on some different colours. So we've got a white and a pink. So this will show up nicely for the different lens colours and see what the difference that they make. So that was shooting with the purple. I've now switched to the rose and we'll give these a go. Now, whilst I absolutely scented that bee bird, the purple definitely felt better again. The rose just a little bit mistier, so choice would be purple on that over the purple or the rose. Now I'll just try the peelers. Now instantly I recognise that the background is a little bit brighter, but the contrast we will see against the clays. Personally, very similar to the purple, so I would be happy using either colour on this target. So I just viewed those targets in the rose colour, but now switched to purple because they weren't very clear. So I'm just going to try it with the purple lens to see what difference there is. And the clays are definitely clearer using the purple lens, so I'll give them a shot with it now. For further testing, I'll come to Kibworth on a different day. The lighting conditions are slightly different to the day I spent at Garland's, and for today I will be testing all 4 of the Evolution glasses and putting them against the Pilla. So hopefully this will give you a bit more insight into how I would test them. In an ideal world, I would also test in broad daylight and sun, but unfortunately I haven't got that option as we're in the middle of January. First up, the purple. They were relatively clear. I'll try the rose now. And now the yellow.
Did you have that bit with your pole, Dick?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think so.
And now the orange. And now I purposely left the orange till last because they are the ones closest to the Pilla that I'm wearing today. So now it's the Pilla's turn. So now we've got two targets that are against the sky background, so we'll see how the different colour lenses perform now. Firstly, the Pilla. So they were both clear as a bell. Now the purple. Both clear. And the rose, and immediately against this background it's turned frosty again, but we'll see against the sky. Both targets nice and clear. Orange now, immediately feel more comfortable again. Switching to the yellow, the grass has become greener, but we'll see how it is against the clays. Once again, all good, nice and clear, so all of them perform well in this weather against a sky background. So hopefully you'll be able to see this, the difference in the lenses. Firstly, the Pilla. Now, the rose. And the purple, and these are the orange, and finally the yellow. Just to repeat myself, I would test them in sunny conditions as well, but unfortunately for filming, that option was not available at the time. Okay, confession time. During the testing, I was considering using purple again, as I found that they did help on certain clays and certain conditions. So I did actually use them in a competition last Sunday, but unfortunately, as I found out, it was a bit of a disaster. It was fine on certain stands, but when I reached something like the 5th or 6th stand, there was this one relatively easy teal target, and I shot it, and I actually saw the wad of the cartridge better than the clay. So just as a word of warning, Make sure you are definitely positive about which colours suit you before splashing out on some higher end. Fortunately, the purple that I did use was from my old Evolution set, so it didn't cost me anything apart from a poor scorecard. On the subject of colours, if you're wondering which suits you, that is entirely your preference. I can't answer that. That is why I recommend you have a selection and see what works for you. I was at a competition just last Sunday, and looking around, I can guarantee you there were all colours and all kinds of shades, so it's clear that what suits one person definitely doesn't suit somebody else. So it is entirely up to you. Our eyes are all different. Now the next question is, are Pilla worth it over the others? Obviously, not having tested XSight personally, I can't comment on how they compare to Pilla, but there is a marked difference between Pilla and the Evolution or the Top Gun. Again, another big question, is it worth it? Well, if you want the best, obviously you have to pay for it. In my opinion, they do make a big difference. The clarity is far superior with the Pilla compared to Evolution. Not knocking Evolution at all. I think for the price they are fantastic and plenty good enough for a lot of competition shooters. I'm just trying to minimise any excuse, so any misses are down to me. It would be all too easy to say, oh, I'm only using cheap glasses, I'll blame them. But I try not to. I know that my misses are down to me if I'm using the best possible equipment that I'm prepared to pay for. Is it worth it? Only you can answer that. But I can guarantee you Pilla are definitely better. So finally, to summarise, if you only want to go for the Evolution, they are plenty good enough for most people, in all honesty. But you do get a big difference if you do pay the extra. Okay, so that's about it. I really hope this video has been helpful for you. Just a few things to recap on. Bear in mind the size of the prescription inserts if you are looking at those. Always wear shooting glasses when on the range. It's quite possible that a piece of clay may come towards you, especially off a driven target. That happens quite often, that you get little pieces break off the clay and fall down towards you. So it's important to be wearing glasses then. Also, like I said at the start of the video, it is highly unlikely, but it isn't impossible, that some pellets might come to you in the face. And believe me, that's not a nice thing. I really am grateful that I was wearing glasses at the time. Otherwise, I might not be shooting now. So please bear those things in mind, and hopefully this video has given you some insight, pardon the pun, into which shooting glasses you might go for. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. I'm not trying to make it into a huge channel, but any help that I can get, even if it just goes towards cartridges, etc., I am grateful for, and it really does help. Thanks for watching.